Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Hollywood Matt Connelly with the double biceps. It is the contract a legal requirement every single time we appear on camera, just making sure that the lawyers are happy, that the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted. Yes, that's the one. Absolutely. Yeah, so we didn't have the Arm Wrestling Buzz podcast today. It's been delayed till next week. But that's all right. We thought we'd jump on here anyway and talk arm wrestling with anybody that was out there that was looking forward to seeing the show and was wanting to bring up certain topics or find out about certain matches. And I thought, well, here we go. And look at that. The Drew is here already. Hello to the Drew. Always good to see you in here, my friend. And I can't believe how many streams you are on. Every stream that's out there. It's like anything to do with arm wrestling. If it's a live stream, you'll see the Drew in there. So always good to see you. What's it in Vegas at the moment? It's probably not too late. I'm looking at my clock that I set for American time, but I think it's New York time. So I've got 10:33 in New York. I think you're in Vegas, so it's going to be a few hours earlier. So yeah, hopefully it's not too late for you there, and you can get on with your. I think you're doing delivery work maybe later on tonight. 7:34 p.m. There you go. Thank you very much, Drew. And look at that. It's Tall Paul. Howdy, y'all, Mr. Matt. Hey to Mr. Tall Paul. Tall indeed. Was it 6? I want to say 6'6", but is it 6'6" or 6'8"? I can't remember, Paul, because I did say how tall are you to be called Tall Paul. And I swear you said 6'6", but you might have said 6'8". I can't remember. But good to see you in here as well, my friend. And yeah, so good to have the usual suspects, I guess. That's what Jake Ward likes to call everyone that jumps into all the streams around the world for arm wrestling, and that's what we've got here at the moment. We'll see if we get. Hopefully, we'll get a bunch of people coming in as we start and get into things. But yeah, we didn't have the Arm Wrestling Buzz podcast on this week. Paul Italia is still running back and forth across the country, setting up. He's got another business that he's in the process of getting up and running. It's taking a bit of his time, and yeah, unfortunately, he wasn't able to set aside enough time to be able to dedicate to getting the show out this week. But that's all right. Oh, Tall Paul was 6'7" in the younger days, but old age shrinking me down to 6'5". There you go. Well, I didn't say either of those. I said 6'8" and 6'6". But yeah, that's great. Well, that is tall. That's very tall. I'm 6. Well, I'm 6'2" and 3/4. But yeah, it's 190 centimeters, and 191 centimeters is 6'3". So, but it's just easier for me to say 6'3" than 6'2", 6'2" and 3/4. It also sounds kind of silly. It's like when there's a kid that says that you go, "How old are you, mate?" And they're like, "I'm 5 3/4". It's like, yeah. So yes, 6'5". It is a very tall man. And how is your arm wrestling career going, Paul? I'd love to hear it. Did Pradeep quit the Buzz show? Well, you're still pretty tall. No, Pradeep hasn't quit the Buzz show. It can be difficult to get everyone's schedule lined up. Obviously, him being in India and then the show taking place, I think it's Wednesday night in America. Sometimes it can be quite difficult for Pradeep to be able to be free, but he's definitely still part of the show. And when he can, he likes to jump on there. And yeah, we have our own little Facebook group, and he's definitely a big contributor in there for sure. Muscle Bike is here. Hello to the Muscle Bike. Slancha, lads. Oh, says Muscle Bike. Always good to see you in here, Muscle Bike. The Drew says the timing for Pradeep. Yes, yeah, that's pretty much what I just said. He said it's one of the only times he can get some sleep. Absolutely. Well, there you go. That's the mystery solved. But no, he is still part of the show. Absolutely, and he has jumped on when he can, but sometimes it can be quite difficult to find free time, and yeah, hopefully you'll be a permanent addition. Well, I definitely enjoy being on there. It's an absolute privilege and a pleasure to be part of it. And yeah, I've been lucky enough to speak to some of the best arm wrestlers in the world and some of the most popular charismatic personalities in the sport, simply from being on that show. And I've nothing but thanks to Paul Italia for allowing me to be part of it. And yeah, it was just absolutely incredible. The way it sort of came about, I had seen that Paul was running promotions and he was doing everything he could to sort of build the sport. And I'd sent him a message maybe 6 months to a year ago, and I said, "Hey, my name's Matt. I'm from Adelaide. I just want to let you know I really think what you're doing is awesome. I appreciate everything that you're doing for the sport of arm wrestling, and I just wanted to say thank you for everything you're doing." And he wrote back, "Oh, thanks a lot, man." And and that was pretty much it. He said, "Thank you," and I said, "Great. I'm looking forward to seeing your next whatever else you're doing." And then about maybe 2 months ago, 3 months ago, I sent him another message. There was something that he had done. He put some content out or something, and I just wrote him another message and said, "Oh, I've just seen this, and I thought it was a really good job." I said, "Thanks again for everything you do, and I think it's fantastic." And then he said, "Hey, I'm just about to go on a podcast. Do you want to jump on?" I'm like, "Yes." And so yeah, we jumped on. It was the Arm Wrestling Buzz. It was the first one that I was on, I don't know, maybe 10, 11 weeks ago or something. And yeah, it was on there with Israel Chavez as well. And we chatted arm wrestling stuff. And then after Paul said, "Hey, look, we're really happy with how that went. Like, do you want to come on more often?" And I'm like, "Absolutely, I would love to." And so every opportunity I've had to be able to get on the show, I definitely put my hand up and jump at it. Because yeah, there's nothing like being able to speak to some of the top guys in the world, and it's just kind of surreal, actually. Oh, it's a little bit weird. It's just like, yeah, because you think like you're a fan of arm wrestling, and then it's like, okay, I'm gonna get into arm wrestling. That's the thing I'm gonna do. Like here in Adelaide. Adelaide is a smaller city in Australia, and arm wrestling club. We've got 3 people. We've got 3 people. All right. Well, that's what I'm doing now. I'm trying that every week. I'm going out way on the other side of the city and learning how to arm wrestle. And then I really started enjoying it. And it was like, I was, telling everyone else around me about it, and then arm wrestling everybody that I would meet and explaining to them about, and I've been losing to people because I still didn't know what the hell I was doing. But then we sort of started to build up a bit more interest in it, and we moved into a community center because it was actually running on one of the guy's driveways at his house. I'm not even kidding. That's where it started 5 years ago. Tim Graham's driveway, and there was 3 of us there, and every now and then you'd get like a new person would pop along and that sort of thing. But yeah, we moved to a community center, and then I started filming and doing videos of just us training and putting them up online, mainly just for us, like just for the guys in the club, because it was like fun. And then I was like, "Oh, I'll come up with nicknames for everyone because it's easier for people to identify with somebody if you have a nickname." And then we started getting more and more people coming along, and we sort of built it up. Maybe there was like 12, 15 people. And yeah, doing more and more videos. And then Tim, who was running it, got very, very busy. He started uni, and he said, "Look, man, I don't have time to dedicate to promoting arm wrestling. Do you want to take over running the club?" And I said, "Yeah, absolutely." And as soon as he said that, I was like, great. I went straight home. I brought up Microsoft Word, and I wrote down, and I've still got it on my one of the files, all the goals that I wanted to do for the club. And I immediately wanted to name the club, brand it, come up with shirts, a website, tournaments, all of that sort of thing. And then so over the next few months, we really started pushing towards getting that done. And yeah, so we named the club the Titans, so the South Australian Titans, or SA Titans. And yeah, I got shirts that I designed, and singlets and all sorts of things printed, and bumper stickers and everything and anything I could. Created all the Facebook pages and Instagram pages, and trying to get more interest, and it started working. Like, people started identifying themselves as their nickname, or people would start turning up that had seen our content online, and they knew everyone there, and they knew everyone by their nickname. It was really kind of weird, actually, when somebody walks in for the first time and you're like, "Hi, my name's Matt," and they're like, "Oh, you're Hollywood, aren't you?" And you're like, "Oh, yeah." And they're like, "Oh, and that's the engineer. Oh, and that's the Viking, and that's Hands of Stone, and that's the anarchist." And it's like, yeah, you've been watching the footage, obviously. They're like, "Yeah, yeah, no, I've seen all the footage, all the videos and everything." Like, oh, wow. So it's weird because you put a video up and you get like 12, 15 views, but it's like the 12 or 15 people that watched it actually really watched it, and they really care about it. And so it started increasing in numbers, and then we ran our first tournament, and Dave Stockbridge came on board as a sponsor. So for Real Estate Agents Group, which is this one here. So he owns a real estate company, and yeah, he's been tremendous in helping us grow the club. And yeah, we put on a big tournament. We had lots of people from all around the country come down. It was called the Real Cup, and it ran fantastically. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I had to figure it all out on the fly, and Tim Graham helped me out a lot there, which was awesome. But yeah, we sort of really started pushing it and making it a thing, and it was like, all right, this is going well. And at fast forward to where we are at the moment, we've started our own arm wrestling promotion at AWE, and obviously partnered up with Ryan Bowen, and we've been all around the world doing events. And I've been to places I would never have thought that I would ever go, especially for arm wrestling purposes. I've been to New Delhi and had an arm wrestle with a 15-year-old world champion who destroyed me in Abbas Rana. And I was able to be on the stage and watch Ryan Bowen defeat Mazahir Saidu in one of the best matches I've ever seen. And then coming back to Australia, and then heading off to Ireland and meeting up with everybody at the Arm Gods event. And it's been crazy, and going back and forth to Brisbane all the time. It's insane. You think, oh, how does this work with arm wrestling? Oh, let me acknowledge a couple of the people who are in the chat here. Tall Paul says that Israel is a good one too. Absolutely, Israel is fantastic, and he's one of the top arm wrestlers over. I think he's in California, so he's doing very, very good things over there. Josh Barker is here. Hello to you, Josh Barker. You are one of the. I was talking about you the other day, actually. We had a new person coming into the club, and they were asking about the different techniques. And when I was explaining the press, and I was saying, like, people that from the start, they can just bang, like, pin you before you can even blink and before you can even resist. I said, and there's a guy in Sydney, Josh Barker, who's like 70 kilos, and he beats heavyweights, like 150 kilo guys. And he is one of the most insane presses you could ever imagine. And at 70 kilos, this guy could be one of one of the top 10 in the country. So yeah, it's good to see you in here, Josh. Couch Apple is here. Hello, Couch Apple. Haven't seen you for a while, but always good to see you. I think, are you in Denmark? I think you're in Denmark, something like that. But always good to see you, Couch Apple. Haven't seen you for a while. I bet Arm Gods is wild in person. It was Tall Paul. Yes, Arm Gods is tremendous. If you ever get the opportunity to go to a live event, and I think they're coming to Winter Blast in America. So all the Americans that are out there that are interested in doing or seeing Arm Gods, you're going to get your opportunity, because they'll be at the Winter Blast event. Winter Blast itself is already enormous, but then Arm Gods on top of that is just going to make the numbers go through the roof. It might be one of the biggest events of the year. It might be the biggest event of the year in the US for arm wrestling. Couch Apple, one technical question. I'm lost in Riser, and it's dropping off my screen. I have to bring it up over here. One technical question. I'm lost in Riser, And if there's a winning plan using top roll, please recommend an effective workout. Yeah, so if you're losing in the riser, so let me get my hand in the right position so you can see here. So off that start, your opponent more than likely had a higher position with their hand than you. It may not be that you're not strong enough in your riser, but when they set up, like you might have been here and they might have been there, and that could have been all the difference. So on that setup, it's so critical that if you're going to high hand top roll, you want your knuckles almost pointing to the roof, and you're going to have to sort of kick your wrist forwards. Let me see if I can do this. So if you're like this, that's not where you want to be. You want to be kicked forwards. See how my knuckles point upwards when I do that? So instead of here, there. So on that rising position, even if your riser isn't as strong, you've still got the height over them. So you should be able to, even if they're trying to drag you out, if their riser is stronger, they might get you to here, but then you can bring your shoulder around, get cup, move different positions. So it may not be that you're not strong enough in that area. It may have been the setup. But in terms of working the riser, hammer curls, you can grab a cable machine, get a strap around, and just this movement. And also, even on this seated row, which is traditionally this, you can still grab that and just take the handle off. Just grab the carabiner and just pull that. There's so many different ways to work that muscle, but essentially it may have actually been the setup that you had. All right, let me jump back up because I'm missing a few of the comments here. Where am I up to? Muscle bike. TP Tall Paul, your Arm Gods Army material, mate. You got to come meet us all. Absolutely, yes. He will get his opportunity at Winter Blast. Kyle Davison, the director, King Kyle, is one of the members of the SA Titans Arm Wrestling Clubs, new to the club, but doing very well and getting rapid improvements in his game overall. And I think if he sticks with it, he will do quite well. Tall Paul says, I'm hoping to get to Ireland Arm Gods someday. Yeah, well, it's definitely worth going to, mate. Absolutely. And but you might not have to travel too far if you want to go to the Winter Blast one. And that's all. Here it is. Muscle Bike saying that. There you go. Come to Atlantic City in March for Winter Blast. There you go. And Tall Paul's Winter Blast in New Jersey or Pennsylvania. It's in New Jersey. Okay. Atlantic City. Just might be able to make that one. I'd like to do some ghost hunting in Ireland. Ghost hunting. Very good. Come do that, man. Yep. We got to meet for some beers, though. That's it. It's the most important part. That's where you're training your bicep. That's, yeah. You got to have the beer and you got to train the riser and the pronation. That's the excuse you can use. You can always say, I was training bicep down at the pub for 6 hours. Cold beer sounds nice, absolutely. And yeah, in Ireland, that was the place to be, was the pub. Everything was at the pub. It's great. It was it's funny when I got to Ireland, to Carlingford. I put my bags in the room and I text Marcus Thompson and I said, hey Matt, I'm here. I've settled in. Everything is all great. Whereabouts is everybody? And he said, just go down to the pub. I was like, all right. And I went down to the pub and every single person was there. And they were there the entire time. Like that was the hangout. That's where people just would get up and they'd go down the pub and then they'd have breakfast there and they'd talk and then, hang around and laugh and be silly. And then lunch would appear and it was like the whole day would be in the pub. It was great. Kyle Davison, thanks, man. I'm earning my biceps and forearms. You are indeed. I get to this level. Oh, I was doing a gym session with Kyle a couple of months ago, and I think we were doing incline dumbbell press, and we had a couple of sets of dumbbells sitting on the floor because we were using different weights. As Kyle has finished his set, he's put his dumbbell down, and he's cracked his hand between the two dumbbells. Oh, felt terrible for you there. I think it was bruised for about 6 weeks. So yeah, be careful if you're ever having multiple dumbbells around. Always make sure that you've got a clear path to put your dumbbells down. I'll drink to that, says Muscle Bike. Absolutely. You got to train that bicep and the pronator. It's what it is. You got to do that. Got to need a bigger beer for the pump. That's right. Yeah, bigger beer. Yes, if you had one, maybe that's why the Europeans, some of the top arm wrestlers around, they have those big steins. Maybe we should see more German arm wrestlers because they should be really good at the pronation movement, holding those massive beers. I'm not sure how much. I wonder how much literage there is in a stein. I'm going to look that up actually. How much liter in a stein? Stein. In a string? No, in a stein. I spelled stein wrong. It's 1 liter. Okay. It's a liter. That's less than I was expecting. But I think they've got different size ones. But yeah, what's a normal beer? About 375, 400 milliliters. I'm talking rubbish for you guys because you probably use different measurements and ounces and stuff. But yes, 1 liter. I don't know how much that is in ounces. 5 million ounces. Goodbye skin, says Kyle. Yeah, that's right. Oh, that hurt. I felt bad for you, Matt. But hopefully it didn't deter you from getting back in the gym. And I don't think it has. You've obviously been doing well. And yeah, we were there on Monday night, actually. We put on a demonstration at Derrimut Gym at Noarlunga. It was part of their birthday celebrations, which I've done for the last 4 or 5 years. And tremendous. Went absolutely fantastic. Probably the best one we've done. Normally when I do these demonstrations, it'll just be me and I'll set up the table and then like try to get people to come up and I'll show them how to arm wrestle. And it can be very taxing because it might be like 3 hours and I'm trying to pull people for 3 hours straight. My arm's just absolutely wrecked. But this time we had maybe 10 or 11 members of the club came along and helped out, which was absolutely fantastic. And I didn't have to get on the table much at all. Not that I love getting on the table, but we had done training the night before and my arms were absolutely wrecked. And so, yeah, I did one sort of hard go holding one of the guys that was, giving it everything he had. And my bicep, like this tendon here, it started just like throbbing with pain. I was like, oh, and then for the next hour, like all through here, and my shoulder was throbbing. It was like incredibly painful. And I still had to talk to everyone. I still had to talk to people, be charismatic, be nice, be friendly. And it was like, I'm there, like, I just kept interrupting them with like, my arms really hurting. I had ice on it, everything. I had ice gel. I've had that before. I've had that issue before. It's just from overtraining. 2 nights in a row is not a good idea. So, yeah, that wasn't pleasant. But luckily, the other members of the club were able to jump on and in my steed, as I would be talking to people and trying not to cry, they were able to go and show people how to do arm wrestling effectively. And it was actually amazing because I brought 2 tables and they were full. Like there was people on them actively pulling the entire 3 hours, which is just insane. Normally when I do it by myself, I'd get, maybe 1 or 2 guys and then it'd be like a 20-minute break before the next person would actually come up, and so, yeah, it was just nonstop. And one of the guys kept coming back. He was on there for half an hour and then he'd go off and do something. And then he'd come back for another 20 minutes and go off and do something. And it's like, so hopefully that guy will come along to the club and give arm wrestling a go. But a lot more people knew about arm wrestling as opposed to how it is normally where they'll say, oh, I didn't even know this was a real thing. And now what is this? But when they came up, they're like, oh yeah, I've been watching it on YouTube, or I'm a big fan of Devin Larratt, or I've seen you your content or whatever. And it was like, oh, okay, this is different. So that was great. The word is definitely spreading, and it is getting out there that people are getting involved in arm wrestling, or at least knowing about it. So that was really good. It went very, very nicely. White Wolf is here. Suck it up, Hollywood. My first time to Arm Gods, I couldn't wipe my ass right-handed for a week. Yeah, that's great. That's great. Was that Thornbush related, or is that arm wrestling related? I know you did have a nice dive into a thorn bush. I'd love to hear that story as well, by the way, like just to clarify the details, because I've been saying it every time I see your name that you fell into a thorn bush. But I believe it was that you were hanging out with beer man Evan Burgoyne, and he was about to fall into the thorn bush. And to save him, you've saved him, but in the process, you've managed to fall into it. Oh, I think it was great. I think it was really funny. But I did see the amount of effort that you put in to help out setting up the event, and you're running around setting up chairs and running cables and, doing everything and anything you could to help out Marcus and Paul. And I know that they really appreciated that enormously. So, yes, it inspired me to like, oh, okay, maybe I should be doing this. I should be helping out as well. Can I help put out some chairs? Yep, no worries. All right, great. I missed the pack up though. I was at the pub or something because I was going to help with the pack up. I thought it was going to happen after the event, but they did it the next morning. And by the time I got down to the arena, they'd already packed everything up. I was like, oh, I was going to help out, but it's all right. They'd already sorted it. Where are we? Lost my messages here. Muscle bike. I find tendonitis soul destroying as it sets off arthritis, which I have as an autoimmune issue. Had it in the after pools in Carlingford and had to walk back to the house alone while the pain subsided. Yeah. I did manage to sneak off to the disabled toilet for like 10 minutes and just laid on the floor like, on Monday night. So yes, it was very painful, very painful. But yeah, it's not fun at all having that pain. Muscle Bike says hello to White Wolf. And the Drew, of course, is here. Bike. Just shorten Muscle Bike to just Bike. Arthritis. He's the worst of the Righteous Brothers. Who are the other Righteous Brothers? The Righteous Brothers? That's quite good. Good play on words there, Drew. White Wolf. Muscle Bike. Wolf. Yeah, we need to get Martin to deal with Arthur. Arthritis. Martinitis. I'm not getting that one. Danny Negrook. Don't ever lose the facial hair. It gives you plus 10 strength points. Thank you, Danny. Good to see you in here, my friend. Haven't seen you for quite a while. Used to work with Danny doing security work. And I'm not sure if you're still there doing that, but yes, great to see you in here. White Wolf. Matt, I was just looking for a chair with the right heft to smash over Jack's back. Yeah, I saw that photo. I think it was a Photoshop. Was it a Photoshop one? Or did you really do it? Where you had the chair when you were running at Jake's back. I don't know if you really did it or if it was a Photoshop one. But yeah, I remember seeing that. Muscle Bike, I'm always envious of the conditioned pullers. I'll never get there, but luckily we have arm gods looking after everyone. There you go. White Wolf says, Joe Wrightus, Bill Wrightus, Danny the Hook Wrightus. Wrightus. Oh, God. Bill Wrightus. Bill Wrightus. I'm not getting those ones. I'm not getting them. I'm worried that I'm going to say something I shouldn't, and so I'm not saying them out loud. It was no Photoshop. So, okay. So you did actually do it. There you go. Funny stuff. Yeah. I know they had a little bit of a falling out, but that's the way it goes sometimes. And hopefully they'll put things back together at some point in the future. You never say never. But yes, Oswald, I think Jake needs to tug on Evan's beard. Oh, everyone who has tugged on Evan's beard has had a beer can in the side of the head. So, yeah. What did you guys think when that happened? Because and anyone else who saw it, if you saw it online or if you saw the replay, but I was there in person, and I'm sure White Wolf and Muscle Bike would have been as well when that took place. Like, I didn't realize that they had sort of WWE set this up, and I thought it was for real. And I was like, oh my God, when he really hit him, and then Uncle John went down. He went down and he was face down, like he'd been KO'd for like 10 seconds. I was like, oh God, he's been knocked out. But then he got up and he was bleeding everywhere. And yeah, it was a great moment. Yeah, he definitely hit him, and he was definitely cut, and he was definitely bleeding. But in terms of, whether or not they had planned it, well, that's up to them to tell everyone. But in terms of the entertainment value, it was definitely up there. I never did really know why Jake and Arm Gods split ways. Yeah, well, that's for them to say and not for me. That it's definitely, there's always two sides to each story, and yeah, it's up to them to explain, or if they want to, they don't have to. There's no obligation. But as I said, hopefully in the future things may change, and you never know how the future will play out. And but I like both guys. Actually, I like all of them. I like Marcus Thompson, Jake Ward, and Paul as well. So Paul Maiden, of course, the other owner of Arm Gods. We saw it from meters away. Hilarious. Everyone thought it was fake. Yeah. Well, the hit he definitely got hit, and he definitely got cut, and he was definitely bleeding. But I think there was some orchestration behind how it went down. But yeah, he had to get stitches. He was in the hospital all night. No room for snakes at Arm Gods. Okay. I was mad as hell at Evan for wasting beer. Same as the first Arm Gods. Yeah, how dare he? Oh, that's great. Wasting the beer. Yeah, he smacked Uncle John pretty hard with it. Got him right in the back of the head. I thought they were actually going to arm wrestle. That's what I was slightly disappointed that they didn't. Because they were having their match the next day, and they said, oh, let's do a left-handed match now, or a right-handed match, whatever the opposite was. And I was like, oh, okay, great. And I saw everyone like creep up real close, and like, oh, they're going to do it. And, obviously them goofing around with each other with the setup, and then it got more and more heated, and then the beard pull and the beer can across the head incident happened. So yeah, very, very cleverly orchestrated, very cleverly designed moment, but it was definitely entertaining, that's for sure. I like you too, Matt. Well, thank you, the Drew. A big fan of yours. No hate for Jake. He made his position clear. I made mine clearer. It's great. How close are you, Matt, to whooping Bowen on the table? A long way away. A galaxy far away. Well, Ryan is over 10 years into the sport. I'm 5 years in. And yeah, I'm not the top guy in my club. Let's put it that way. There's probably 4 or 5 guys that could beat me consistently at my club. Yeah, let alone going up to the highest levels with Ryan Bowen, who is just I mean, he's an international arm wrestler. He's competed against some of the top guys in the world. You don't go against Ron Barth. You don't go against Schoolboy. You don't go against Coach Ray if you're at my level. But he's continuing to improve, probably faster than I would be continuing to catch him. I don't think I'd ever get to the point where he is. It's one of those things. It's like a genetic talent. You have your genetic potential, and it's like I can see where I can get to, and I don't think that at my best that I would be an international competitor. I think I might, if I was at my absolute best, I'd be one of the top 10 in Australia. But yeah, I don't see myself being able to go to the level that he's at. And then you get guys like Richard Bornman, who's just over a year in and just destroying everybody at the top level. And it's like, so you look at someone like him who's already, so starting points. Okay, there's me and there's Richard. Now that's our starting points. He's starting here, really, and I'm here. As we improve, I'm improving a little bit. He improving rapidly. So, yeah. And he's young. He's 20 years old. He's 120 kilos. He's an athlete already, having spent many years doing rugby. So he's conditioned to that sort of thing. But I enjoy the sport. I absolutely love it. I love getting on the table with people. I am improving. I'm getting better over time and stronger. But yeah, I don't see myself being at that world level. Dominic Lawrence is here. Hello to you, Dominic. Always good to see you, sir. Oh, maybe 2 or 3 more years, you'll be at least able to hold your own with him. Yeah, maybe. That's 2 or 3 more years that he has as well to improve. That's what's one of the funny things with the club is that you might feel like you're not improving because everyone around you is also getting better at the same time. And so one week you might be beating this guy, the next week they're beating you, and you're like, damn it, I've gotten worse. It's like, well, no, they actually got better. And now if you want to get to a point where you're going to be able to beat them again, you're going to improve. But it can feel like you're not getting anywhere because maybe it's the same people that you're training with. And it's like, I'm struggling so much with these guys and I'm always struggling with them. I'm never getting to a point where I can handle them and I can comfortably win. It's like, yeah, but all of you are improving and all of you are getting better. And so when somebody new comes in or somebody who's, maybe comes back from a bit of a layoff and they get on the table and they're like, oh, Jesus, you guys are like super strong. And it's like, oh, okay, well, yeah, thanks. And they're like, oh, man, you've gotten heaps stronger. It's like, oh, it doesn't feel like it because it feels like the same. It feels like, you've been pulling against the same people and struggling the entire time. But that is where you get your skill set and having, I heard a great quote. If you're the strongest man in the room, you're in the wrong room. It was really clever. It might have been smartest man in the room, but I'm going to change it to strongest man. Because, yeah, if you are the absolute best person in your training area, unless you can get people to really, really push you, then you're not going to get much out of your training. If you're not chasing somebody, if you're not getting beaten consistently and having to learn, because you learn from your losses, you don't really learn as much from your wins. It's like, I was on a show with Dakota Shipton yesterday, and he was saying that, hey, look, I don't really remember a lot of my wins, but I remember every single loss and every detail of every loss and every moment and what happened. It's like, well, there you go. That's exactly the reason that you'll learn from that. But where you win, you go up, you do your thing, and it works. It's like, okay, it worked, yay. Whereas if you go and you try that and you get overpowered, and then you're trying to hold and you can't hold, and it's like, oh, what did I do wrong? Maybe I need to get stronger here. Maybe I need to get stronger there. That's where you actually learn to improve. So being in a club or being in an environment where people are constantly pushing you to get better. And that's why it's almost a good thing for me to not be the top guy in the club, because it's like I have people that are better than me, that can beat me consistently, that I can be like, okay, I can chase that down and see if I can improve against these guys. And I am way behind on the comments here. Top Fall says Rickard definitely rookie of the year, absolutely, and you'll be seeing him again shortly. I can't say where just yet, but yes, big things in the works for Rickard. Rickard actually been arm wrestling longer than a year, but hey, 1.2 years, 1.23 years. What does it matter? Only a year in Australia, so you are right on that front. Yeah, I think in South Africa, there's a video of him and Terence Offerman. And I think that was the first ever tournament that he'd entered, Rickard. Terence Offerman being a legend of South African arm wrestling. Heavyweight, very, very powerful. And Rickard really pushing it to him. And I think he was like 18 years old or something. Oh, camera lost connection, but it's come back. Oh, struggling. It's gone. There it is. It's back. All right. Yes, no. So he may have dabbled in a little bit, but I don't think he was taking it seriously at any point. So, you could say just over a year of serious arm wrestling training. Kyle Davison says, I can confirm that's what it's like at the club. Everyone says, dude, you're getting stronger, but I'm feeling weaker. Yeah, well, that's one of the things as well, Kyle, is that as you get better, people will make it more difficult. Like if I'm on the table with you, if you start making me work, I'm going to defend harder. I'm going to make it more difficult for you, because now I know that you're at a level where you can handle. So it might feel like, you're not improving, but it's like I'm making you work at 100% when you're doing these movements or trying to get into these positions. And that's my goal, is I want you to be working really, really hard to get, so to get here, to get there, to get that spot. And, at the start, I had to make it very, very easy for you to get those positions, to learn how to get into them, to learn the fundamentals of movement. As you start to get the idea of it, that's when I can start putting more resistance against it. And so you might feel like, God, it's so hard to get this position. And it's like, yeah, it is hard to get that position because I'm making it that hard. And then you might get really strong at getting that position, but I'm just going to make it more difficult for you to get. So, but then when you get on with somebody who's relatively new, as you said, they'll say, dude, you're getting stronger. And it's like, oh, doesn't feel like it, because every time I get on with, these guys, I feel like a child versus their dad. But it's like, yes, but you are improving, and so they are making it more difficult for you. Jake said it was his channel, and he do what he wanted. He do what he wanted. They didn't agree with the usual suspects and tried to control us by taking away wrenches, lied to us and claimed it was a YouTube glitch. Yes, all of that side of things. It's none of my business. Joe Nelson says, Matt freaking Connelly, how you doing, brother? Always good to see you, Joe. How are you, sir? Great to see you in here. The Welsh Wolverine is here. Oh, big match coming up for the Welsh Wolverine. Dean Bolt, not Dave Bolt, Dean Bolt. He will be competing against James Stewart at the Arm Gods Wales event. I think it's July 7th, 13th, 7th. It's coming up relatively soon. So it will be tremendous to see you on the table. We can't wait to see it. It'll be front row seats in terms of watching it and supporting you. And everyone that is interested in arm wrestling at any level, you want to see that event. There's actually two major events going on that same day. I think there's an East versus West or something on the same day. But the good thing is, with the time difference, is you have plenty of time to be able to watch both. So yes, Arm Gods Wales is going to be absolutely fantastic. They got a lot of title matches on the line, a lot of left-handed matches, which is kind of interesting as well. Joe Nelson, I hear we might be somebody at the same. Let me read that again. I hear we might be someone at the same time next February. I hear we might be someone at the same time next February. I don't know what you mean. Might be somewhere at the same time in February? I don't know. I haven't heard. Neil Pickups Index Finger says, "Hey guys, I always love the troll names. So good. There was so many of them. And Spermy's Arms is creamy. Spermy's Ass is creamy was Hermes Gasparini. A play on words there, but I think he got sick of being called Spermies, and so he's changed it to SA, but everyone still calls him Spermies anyway. Oh, whoops, I brought that one up a second ago. I'm cashing Hollywood in more than one way. Yeah. I'm cashing Hollywood in. Yeah, well, you're doing well, Kyle. So just keep coming along, keep training hard. It does take a long time, unless you're a genetic freak like Richard Foreman. And even then, he still has to put in the work and put in the time and effort. And it is through discipline and sacrifice and hard work that you will achieve anything that you want to get. Oh, wow, that's wild. I was wondering why the wrenches were changed hands. There you go. Jay Nelson. Okay. Oh, there it is. All right. I hear we might be somewhere at the same time next February. February. Possibly. I'm not sure exactly what you might be referring to, Joe. But if we are, it'd be great to see you. So we will see how that plays out. But yes. Neil's index finger says, I said that. Okay. It's hard, like if I go to the comment and I've said something 5 minutes ago, it's like, which one did I say? Dean, the Welsh Wolverine. It'd be great to see him. He's competing on left arm, which I believe is his more dominant arm. And him and his lovely wife, I'm not sure if he should be refereeing, but she's a tremendous referee as well for Arm Gods. Tall, we supported him from the very beginning, and while it's his channel, it's my time and my money, and I'll do with it as I please. Fair enough. We confronted him at Arm Gods, and he lied to our faces. Okay. Again, this is not my place to say anything. What I'm hearing is those biceps are all for show. It's all for show. Yes, that's right. I can look like I can arm wrestle really well. Though I have no issues with saying I'm not a top level arm wrestler, that's for sure. But I love the sport. I love getting on the table and promoting it and just being around all the people in this community is all that I care about. So yeah, it's one of those things. You get on the table, it's like, if I lose, I lose. That's okay. Arm Historian and 98% get my support now. They are both good channels. Arm Historian doing big things, and met him actually at the Arm Gods event. I'm sure Muscle Bike, you probably had a chat to him as well, or if you were lucky enough, because you wouldn't know who it was unless he came up and talked to you, because you can only recognize him by voice. He doesn't put his face out there at all. Dominic Lawrence, hey Matt, can some of your SA Titans come to the New South Wales state titles in July? We'd love to see you guys there. I know it costs money to travel. Yeah, that's one of those things, Dominic. It's hard to get people to go, especially in a tournament format, because A, you don't know who you're going to be competing against. B, it is a lot of money to go there, and more than likely, you probably, unless you're like one of the top guys, you know, it's not really a lot of fun to go all the way somewhere and just get beaten twice. and it costs you $1,500 because you got flights, accommodation, taxis, food, all the rest of it. And you step on the table and you get pinned, oh, great. You go to the losers bracket, you wait around for a couple of hours and you get pinned again. It's like, I don't think that was that much fun. I think that's one of those issues. And that's why I always have the side tables set up at all times when we run our T-Series events. It's like, anyone who's there, it's like, okay, if you get eliminated, doesn't matter. You can go and have a lot of fun on the side table. Like, just jump on with everybody and anybody, because you're going to have a great time. As long as you have a good time, that's what I care about. But I think going to a tournament where it's just you're sitting and waiting for your turn to go up and get beaten, it's not a lot of fun. And especially when it costs you a lot of money to do. I think that's probably the main reason you won't see a lot of people traveling to do it. Have you ever thought about going with just the moustache? Not really. I know that's the look that Ryan has gone for at the moment, but no. Let's have a look. What would it look like if we can cover it up properly? Is that better? No. There you go. Yeah, I don't think it would work. I'm quite happy with the beard. I think I'd just stick with that. It's easy. Just don't have to worry too much about it. I think basically I grew it just because I got sick of shaving. Marcus and I and the now dead. Oh, the now dead usual suspects gave Jake thousands of dollars, tens of thousands. He was able to go full-time YouTube because of us. I was very appreciative of that. Tall Paul says, I hate when someone lies to my face, especially while I know they are lying. Don't buy the hands that feeds us. Says hello to Dean. Then it's an insult to your intelligence too. For sure, Bike. Yep. That's okay. I'll just jump through that stuff. As I said, it's not my place to comment on that. Mean Dean's Wolverine. Neil's index finger. It was amazing to talk last night with you, bro. And one thing that resonates is no matter where you live in the world, arm wrestling culture is all of us. Absolutely, my friend. It was a pleasure to be on the podcast with Dakota Shipton and everyone that was able to jump into the chat. And this arm wrestling community is so supportive. So yeah, it's always great to be able to be in. It was a privilege for me to be invited onto a show. It was a little funny with the because Dakota had said, "Oh yeah, we'll email you the link when it's ready to go," and it should be about, well, for me it was going to be like 9:30 in the morning. So I'm like, "Yep, no worries." So like 9:15, I'm sitting here, got all my camera, everything set up. I'm waiting. I'm refreshing my email over and over and over and over. Nothing. And then it's like, okay, maybe they're starting a little bit late. Yep, that's fine. And then it got to like 9:45. I'm like, and then I flicked over to Instagram just for a second, and then it sent the link in Instagram. I was like, damn it. So yeah, I was like, shit. Quickly joined from that. It was like 10 minutes into the show I'd missed. So, well, my microphone's falling over. Come here, you. Just got to tighten that up. Give me one sec. Ugh. Interrupt me during my bloody show, microphone. Let's see when I know you guys are not probably fans of Jake at the moment. Did you see that moment though a few months ago? His laptop like fell forwards and it looked like he'd fallen over. It like fell like because he's got his using webcam on his laptop, and it dropped bang like that. And he was on with Uncle John at the time, and Uncle John was like, "Oh man, I might have to actually ring him to see if he's all right," because it looked like he'd just fainted. Because it took him a minute or two to be able to figure out how to lift it back up again. All right, there we go. We're back. Spammy had to change names because he kept getting shadow banned by woke mods and platforms. Not his fault. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Interesting. What, on YouTube? Okay. Spamming will always be spamming. Yeah, that's right. SA. YouTube has been auto-blocking. Oh, wow. Okay. Auto-blocking. Jeez. Wonder what, how he got the ban in the first place. Doesn't seem like somebody that would be bannable. I'll drink to that too. Dean, you feeling strong, buddy? I think Dean usually just pops in, says hello, and then disappears. So he might have already gone. Won't be long, man. And you'll the Dennis ass oh, I think I might have that going already on this one. You can see the split there. Da, 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 da. Which is pure genetics. I don't do anything different for bicep training. I do your standard stuff, but I think it's just a genetic thing that you get the split in the bicep there. Dominic's heading off. See you later, Dominic. Good to see you in here. Thank you for dropping in. Muscle bike. That me and pal Luke drove AH. I don't know. Drove AH from the airports to Carlingford. We stayed in the same house too. Lovely bloke. Oh, there you go. Fantastic. I drove AH. Who's AH? Drove AH. I don't know. Who is that? You have to tell me. I can't think of it. Sorry, Matt. Paul was saying he didn't know what happened. I'll keep the dirty laundry and dead bodies in the trunk of the car. So that's fine. You guys can talk about it. That's fine. That's not a problem at all. It's just, it's not for me to, it's not my place to discuss because I'd rather them have the opportunity to say anything if they choose to. 3 bombs. Ryan doesn't have the jaw for it, for the moustache. Yeah, he's changed up the look. He's gone from the beard to the moustache. There you go. You just turned into Cody Merritt with the moustache. That's great. You never know. Rick Rude level stash potential. Oh, maybe Rick Rude, the legendary wrestler. I was watching a video yesterday on wrestlers that you don't want to mess with. And Rick Rude was one of them. Apparently, he beat up a couple of guys in the back area. So he wasn't just all moustache. He was he could fight as well. Too old to beat around the bush. He made his bed. 10%. Oh, it's 10%. No, it's 100%, says Muscle Bike. I said it, but I don't know what happened. That's okay, man. It might have gone to my spam or something. I don't know. It doesn't matter. That's all right. We got there in the end. And it was great to get on with you guys and chat about arm wrestling. And looking forward to, you've got your nationals, the Canadian nationals will be taking place in Quebec this weekend. But more interested in how you guys go with your crew that's heading from Alberta to, where were you going to? I think you were going to take on one of the rival clubs in another city. Might have been Calgary. I'm not sure. But yeah, when that happens, let me know. I want to see how that goes. Where is your next international trip? Maybe to the United States. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that. But yes, a few things in the works as always. But yes, if I do get there, I know you're up in Canada somewhere, not that far away. I did live in Vancouver for 6 months. I have some semblance as to the outlying provinces of Canada. Are you in Toronto? I think. Are you in Toronto? I don't know. Joe Nelson. I must have missed the laptop blooper. Yeah. Top hall, it was funny. For the longest time, he sounded like his mic was affected too. It probably was. Some big moment happened. Jake flew. Drew, aka Voice Twin. Voice Twin. Oh, is that the alternate account for the Drew, maybe being exposed here, Drew? Matt, who do you have between the Dean and the Claymore? Or between the Dean? Between Dean and the Claymore. Yeah, it's going to be a good match. It's going to be crazy. I think it's one of the best matches you could put together because both guys are at that level where it makes sense, and it's sort of like their career trajectory is sort of, both heading in the same direction, and it's the ideal matchup to make. But I've got Dean just based on experience, so yeah, it'll be a great match. I can't wait to see it. Oh, I sorry, there you go. Historian. Yeah, I couldn't think of it. You just got to write it. There's too many abbreviations, too many acronyms. Like, yeah. So okay, you're in the taxi with him in Carlingford. Fantastic. Yeah, he's a good guy. Absolutely. The historian, you fool. Well, oh, okay. When you have sperm and arse in your name, most YouTube chats would block his name or auto hiding. Really? So either you had to make him a mod, or you had to change his name to be seen in chat. Fair enough. Fair enough. That makes more sense. Trying to catch up on where you guys are at. Oh, there he is. He's still here. The Dean is still here. Fantastic. The Welsh Wolverine. Got some fantastic gifts from Dean in the mail the other week, which I opened on stream. It was a pleasure to be able to do that and show everyone live what we got in there. And I was just hoping there was nothing. Like I was just hoping it wasn't like I opened up and it was like a double-ended dildo or something. Just as a joke. But then everyone in the comments was writing like what they thought was in the package, and I saw like tub of lube, bath water. Oh, it was great. But it turned out that it was some fantastic shirts. I had a Welsh flag and some awesome gifts from the Welsh Wolverine. I think Edmonton versus Grand Prairie already happened in Alberta. Yes. I think they've got the guys that were on the show yesterday with Dakota Shipton and they're heading with a bunch of their guys from their club, and they've got some super matches lined up. So a whole like Alberta crew is going to go and take on, I can't remember where they're going, but it was going to be some big super matches that I was kind of keen to see. The Historian had a great fantasy league recently, guys. You should check it out if you've missed it. He did. I was the third guest on that one. Yeah, great concept. Basically, the idea behind it was that he took he put a poll out and said, who do you think are the top arm wrestlers? If everyone was in their absolute prime, then who would be the top arm wrestlers in the world? And I think he had, 30 people or something. And then he put it into a tournament bracket. And then each week he would run through sort of the first, the first bracket, and everyone could vote on who they thought would win each match. And then you'd go down to the losers bracket the next week, and then who they thought would win that one. And I think that they've worked all the way through, and it turns out that John Brezink was the actual overall champion of that, which is unsurprisingly, really. I mean, the guy is the GOAT for a reason, greatest of all time with arm wrestling. You can't go that long being on top of the world and still be a competitive top 10 arm wrestler in the world at the age of whatever he is, 50 something, and not be the best. It's just insane. Come to Winter Blast, says White Wolf. Yes, well, we'll see what happens. Matt, apparently Drew and I sound similar. Oh, there we go. That's why. Okay, very good. There you go. Well, I have spoken with the Drew, so I can imagine what you sound like now. According to Derek Smith. Oh, there you go. Derek Smith, we saw on the weekend against Travis Bajan. He did a good job with his commentary as well. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to get the job done on the table. Travis Bajan looking all the beast of his nickname, able to get a 3-0 dominant victory on the left hand and cruising through that match. But yes, Derek Smith still one of the top guys in the world, huge man, and obviously loves the sport and does a great job with his commentary as well. I think Wolf sent the super chat and Devon read it to Brazing. Yes, I did see that, White Wolf as well, and Top Hall. I saw the video of Devon reading it to John, and John was very happy about that. Yeah, John doesn't usually say too much when he gets a lot of praise. He's just like, okay, thank you. Yeah. He's not one to be like, yes, I'm the greatest. Yes, I'm the best. Or, be too, he's just like, okay, that's cool. Yeah, no, that's really nice. Awesome. But that's pretty much how he reacted. So, which is fine. I mean, that's him. And yeah, I think with John, he's probably had a lot of people saying a lot of positive things to him over the years that he's just like, okay, thank you. I appreciate it. He's definitely not one of those big ego guys. He's just very, very happy with his results and content. I think the word would probably be content. He'd grin like a real pig, knowing that he's the man. Absolutely. I'll pick Dean since he's here. He is. If his shirts and a jar of his farts. Yes, that's right. Yeah, I kept that hidden. Oh, so good. I wonder if it's the event on July the 1st, Alberta versus Uzbekistan. I have to find out about that. Yeah. Canadian Nationals are in that city in Quebec, I believe. I picked the funny sounding one, Voices. Sorry, July the 20th. Mr. Arm Historian is the same as Arm Gods. Everyone can get involved, no elitism. Absolutely. There you go. If I ever talk with the goat, I will be sure to tell him where he can improve. Yes, well, that's one of the things if you look back at the Pulling John documentary, I mean, he was talking about retiring back then, and that was many years ago. I think he had felt like he had done all he wanted to do in arm wrestling, all he could do. He'd won every title. He'd won all the tournaments. He'd been around the world. He'd competed against the top guys, and he'd done that for years and years and years and years and years. And then, where do you go when you're on the top? Like, where do you push? What do you push for? Like, what's the next level? So, unless you're looking at promoting or running your own organization or something like that, which obviously didn't interest him, then yeah, it's sort of like, okay, well, if you've done everything that it can possibly be done in the sport, you've done it for many years. What else do you do? So, sort of led to the retirement of John, and it was so good to see him come back, and come back and not shy away from the big matches. I mean, he took on Devon Larratt like within 6 months of returning into arm wrestling, and he pulled a tournament the weekend before even. So yeah, anytime that John's on the table, I'll be watching because he is an absolute legend. Missed that one. Oh, hang on, let me get this in order. I was throwing shade on Devon. He knew I was stirring the pot, but Devon is self-admittedly one of John's biggest fans. Yeah, absolutely. Well, how could you not be a fan of John? If you're not a fan of John Brazing, you'd have to have a pretty bloody good reason. Like he stole your bike or something. David Hux is in the chat. Hello to you, David. One of the guys from South Australia as well. Always good to see you, sir. Yes, John Brazing. Who's going to win the Brazing versus Leonidas match? I wished John would take easier matches. I think this may be an easier match for John. I think John will comfortably handle Leonidas. Yeah. And Leonidas is a strong guy, and he did a tremendous job against Schoolboy. But you're talking about John Brazing, who's arguably the greatest arm wrestler that's ever lived, who's still at the top level. I think it's going to be a very comfortable win for John Brzenk, and I'd comfortably put $1,000 on that if they had betting. It was neat though to see how Bowen was able to reach the GOAT. It was neat though to see how Bowen was able to teach John Brzenk something in the straps. Yeah, so I think that was a very big highlight for Ryan's life, was being able to go and hang out with John Brzenk at his house for a few days, especially just when he was still an up-and-coming YouTuber, an up-and-coming arm wrestler, to go and hang out with the greatest arm wrestler that's ever existed. And then, get on the table with him and have John tell you anything is just absolutely amazing. Money on the GOAT, yes, absolutely. Leonidas isn't on John's level, surely. No, I don't think he is at all. I like Leonidas. I think it's great that he's doing arm wrestling. I think he did a tremendous job against Schoolboy, but John Brzenk, I think, will crush him any which way he wants to. Remember, John has faced so many strong guys and just obliterated them over the years. Topol says, absolutely, Wolf. You got a good grin out of him with that super chat. Yeah, absolutely. It was a great moment. Leo has endurance. Will be the key for him to win, I think. I don't think so, Drew. I think he's going straight to the pin pad. I think his only hope is if John is merciful and allows him to work in any position that he wants him to work in. I'm hoping the GOAT, but man, the age is bound to catch up with him going against a huge younger fella. Drew, I hope he has nothing for John. I can't conceive of it. I don't see him having anything for John at all. Yeah, both him and Dev got a kick out of the Fantasy League results. Absolutely, they did. Who wins John versus Schoolboy? Well, if I'm saying that John is going to beat Leonidas and Leonidas beats Schoolboy, then I would say that John beats Schoolboy as well. Yeah, I think John would handle Schoolboy. He's just the next level. He's still a level above where those guys are sitting. I thought Bowen was going to win the Fantasy League there for a few. So did I. I thought that, the troll attempt to get him through, because he was winning matches that he shouldn't have won. Where did he go? I think when he was on with mine, he was against Alexi Vovoda or something. And it was like, yeah, Prime Vovoda versus Prime Bowen. It's like everyone's gone, Bowen. And yeah, you can see the trend that people just wanted to have fun with it and be silly. It's one of those things where you give the audience the control and they always just make it silly. There's this fantastic story in the UK, and they put out, I think it was a boat, that was a new boat, and they said, okay, we want the public to name this boat, and whatever name gets the most votes will be the name. And the boat ended up being called Bodie McBoatface. Bodie McBoatface. Yep. And it's written on the boat in big painted letters. And then a few years later, they hadn't learned their lesson. They decided to do the same thing with a new train that they unveiled. And of course, the train is now called Trainee McTrainface. I'm going to look that up for you guys because it's making me laugh. Trainee McTrainface. There it is. Straight away. All right. And I'll share the screen for you too, so you can see what I'm doing. Share this tab instead. There we go. And then bring that one up there. And I'll move that comment so you can see what I'm doing. All right. Trainee McTrainface. Meet Trainee McTrainface. Let's see if I can play this here and you guys can see what I'm doing.
Boatface, after the name came first in a public poll. The unusual name was inspired, of course, by the name Bodie McBoatface being disallowed in a UK ship naming competition.
It's fun. It feels like Bodie McBoatface got his revenge when his cousin Trainee McTrainface won this poll.
Yes, this is a real story. Trainee McTrainface will join 2 other trains named Estelle and Glenn, and will be running before the end of the year.
Well, I think that's the funniest. There's a train, Glenn.
Glenn, I love Glenn.
And in Sweden.
There you go. Trainee McTrainface. I love it. So good. Bodie McBoatface and Trainee McTrainface. So good. Where are we going to catch up with? Depends on where the goat is currently at. Like with Travis, that's true. He did look good against Irakli up until... I feel like he could have won that match, and I think he was like... In that last round, it almost feels like he was not messing around, but like he had the dominant position, and I think he just waited too long. He ended up Irakli got the pin on him. So yeah. Anyway, John is still a high level, but that said, Devon wanted to drive Leonidas down to pull RVJ for big money last year, so Devon has faith in his level. Was that the one where RVJ was challenging Devon to like a 10 grand match or something? Was that moment? If you have peak goat, then he wins. I think he'll win regardless. Brezink didn't look too big in that last live. He has me worried. He's never really looked that big, though. I mean, especially when you're going against guys that are 50 or 60 kilos heavier than him. John sits around 90 kilos, which is what, 200 pounds or something? Between 200 and 220 pounds, usually. He's not a massive guy. But, yeah, he is definitely my pick in that match for sure. Bowen did win the fantasy league as far as I'm concerned. Leonidas beat Schoolboy. Yes, he did. Yeah, it was a 3-1, 4-1. I can't remember which. Schoolboy did get one pin, but yeah, Leonidas took over and got the win. Luke's after midnight driving skills are legendary in Carlingford. Glad I wasn't out on the town at that point. Bowen beat Batali or Dave Chafee, I think, in that league. Yeah, I think it was Dave Chafee. It was somebody he shouldn't have beaten. Luckily, the Garda didn't get to concur. To right, there you go. Ryan smashed easy money. Yes, Dave Chafee. I think everyone was just taking the piss. Absolutely. Trainee McTrainface. Bowenface. Mike would have only added to his legendary status. Luke drives better piss than when sober. Devon sucks at pinning winners. I've heard that Devon is a terrible driver. I've heard from a couple of people. If you get in the car with Devon, you're putting your life on the line. Apparently, he just drives like a maniac everywhere. True Wolf, almost as much as he sucks against Lavana. Well, next time we better get him hammered. Yeah, there we go. Finally caught up on the comments there. Oh, it's so good to have people do it. But then I start talking about something and, within a minute, I'm like, damn it. Well, that's all good. It's good. I like to bring up the comments because I like to make it known that if you do write a comment that I will acknowledge it and I will try to answer it. Wolfie might make it to Winter Blast, but not sure yet. I might stay with Spermy and come down with him instead otherwise. When are you getting it? This is a Winter Blast. Winter Blast is going to be a massive event. Armgod's going to be there as well. Yes, absolutely massive. I believe the last event that they had almost 1,000 entries for the tournament, which is insane. Absolutely insane. Although nothing compared to India. India is ridiculous in terms of the amount of people that are into arm wrestling over there. They had a tournament the day before we flew in, and I think they had something like it was something like 2,000 or 2,500 entries. And that was only like one small suburb. Like, it was just insane the amount of people that are into arm wrestling over there. White Wolf says, when are you getting monetized, Matt? Well, when I get to 1,000 subscribers and I get enough watch time. But we'll get there eventually. We're at 905 or something at the moment. But yeah, it is a long slog, but it's worth it because 907. If you haven't subscribed, I would appreciate it enormously if you did. Yes, to get any sort of monetization, you need to be at certain levels. You need to have a certain amount of watch hours, and you need to have 1,000 subscribers. So we're getting closer, but not there yet. However, with this community support, I know that I will reach there in the end. But regardless of that, I'm just so thankful for everything that's happened for me in this sport. It's been so many people that I've met around the world. I've met amazing people. I've traveled to India, to Ireland, all over the place, to Brisbane, and just met some of the top guys in the world. Been on podcasts with some of the best people around, and so monetization, it's like, well, you couldn't pay for the experiences that I've had. I've been incredibly lucky, and I attribute a lot of that to the help that I've had from key people in the arm wrestling world that have been so supportive. People like Dave Stockbridge, Ryan Bowen, Marcus Thompson, Paul Italia, so many. But yes, there is so many awesome people in this sport, and so my goal is not, hey, let me try to make a living on YouTube. I make money other ways through property investment, but obviously it's a nice goal if you can reach that level and know that you're getting to a point where people are enjoying what you're doing and enjoying your content. That's always a benefit. Huxley says, who do you think is a good match for Rickard? Well, I know who's a good match for Rickard, and I know who we've got lined up for Rickard, so I can't say just yet. He beat Oleg Petrenko last 2 year. Billy Biceps. I always love the name Billy Biceps. Oleg Petrenko. Yeah, he's doing big things, Petrenko. He's got a big match coming up relatively soon as well. East versus West. He'll be on the next card. He is going against David. God, I can never say his surname. David Dadakian. That's a left-handed heavyweight title match. So yeah, Oleg Petrenko looking like a beast at the moment. His most recent performance as well, he was very, very dominant. Nick Hendry. Hello to you, sir. Always good to see you in here. Who would you like a match with in Australia? Will you be competing in any state competitions at any point soon? Yeah, I haven't really thought about it too much. I've more been focused on, we're putting together our next event for AWE, which will be running in October. So we went and looked at the venue and everything yesterday, got all of the lighting and staging and coordination side of it sorted out. And we've contacted all the athletes that are going to be appearing on that event. And so we're not very far away from announcing that. But in terms of me having matches, yeah, maybe I'll have a match with one of the guys in the club. In terms of a match with people around the Australia, to me, it's more like I just enjoy like just getting out to the club, getting out, running the events. And yeah, competition, awesome. If you have a match, great. But I'd want to have a match that would be part of something else so it's not just, I'm not just going there for that one match. I want to be doing a lot of stuff there because the match to me is less important and less interesting. But you never know. I know you did a fantastic job at the Victorian state titles just recently. I think I saw you take. Did you win the? Might have won the heavyweight class, or you did quite well in the heavyweight class. But yes, I know you did very nicely. And Jay Edev, I believe you had a couple of good wins over him as well. So yeah, but as I said, my level is still not at the highest point. So I would, if I was ranking myself in Australia, like as to where I would stand, I would probably not be in the top 50. I have a real nice park bench picked out for Wish Blast. I'm sure you do. Matt, modding Wolf and I will help you get monetized. I'd be happy to do it. I don't actually know how to do it. I'll figure it out. Do you have to be in the actual thing for me to do that? I don't know. But if I can, I'll do it. I'm running it through Restream, so I'm not sure if that's an option through this. I might have to be only doing it through YouTube. I've no idea. Or nationals in November? No, I won't be competing in the AAF. I use testosterone, so I'm not eligible to compete because that it's a banned substance, and it would not be fair to other people if I was competing in that. So yes, and I'll freely admit that because I'll say, hey, look, I do use performance enhancing drugs. I mean, it's testosterone only. That's the only thing I use, but that is not allowed in AAF competitions, and so I will not be competing in those competitions, which is that's fine. I support it though. I hope you guys go along, and that's a great event. But so I will follow the rules of that, and I wouldn't put myself in that position where I would be seen as cheating or anything like that. I'm too lazy to be a mod bike. Plus, I only ban sex bots. So don't ban the sex bots. that's 90% of my audience. Wolf, did you have to arm wrestle one of the bum fight guys? Oh, bum fights, yeah. That guy got like in massive amount of trouble legally. I think he ended up getting jail time or something. The guy who ran bum fights and filmed it all. I don't know how they managed to do it because everyone did things they did consensually. Yeah, but whatever. Rickard versus the winner of Leonidas versus Brzezinski match. We'll wait and see what happens with Rickard. We've got things in the works for him, but I'm glad that people are excited to see him compete again. And he's definitely a phenom, that's for sure. I only want to be a mod to see if Jake steals my wrench and denies it. Luca's here. Hello, Luca. It's always good to see you here. Always popping in. What's up, boys? I thought you made money from the MMA thing, Hollywood. I have lots of different sources of income, which is one of the things I would highly advise to anybody that's out there. If get as many streams of income as you possibly can. I think I've got about 12 different ways of earning money. Most of them passive, which is fantastic, which means that I've done the work one time and I'm going to continuously get paid from it. So yeah, that's what I do with my rental properties is I have, so with very quickly, like I'll buy a property that might be 3 bedrooms. I'll turn it into 5 bedrooms by putting a wall through the lounge room, and then I'll rent each room out individually. So there'll be 5 bedrooms, so 5 tenants in each room. Let's say it's $200 a week per tenant. That's $1,000 a week. So I'd be getting $1,000 a week rent as opposed to the market rent, which might be $400. So yeah, it works a lot better. You do have to manage the tenants, but yeah, you can also get people to do that for you as well, and that is what I have put myself in a position to do. Whatever happened to the sex bots? I miss those days. They're out there, believe me. Luca Slancha, matey. He does like to see tears, so it's likely. Okay. Rickard versus Schoolboy. Yeah, well, we know what's happening with Rickard, but unfortunately we can't make the announcement as of yet. Mr. Luca. I witnessed the tears in the chat. Team Trouser Snake. Oh, there you go. So good. That was a very Canadian statement with the A at the end. Hey. Balances Rickard is smashing Lachlan. It's probably not on Lachlan versus Rickard coming up. Yeah, I don't think you might have got the words a little bit exaggerated there. I think he's being competitive with Lachlan. He's probably a more accurate description. Yes. No, Wolf got me started with Canuck speak. What's Rickard's weight? He's 120 kilos, which is like 250 pounds, I believe. 120 times 2.2, 264. So 264 pounds. Yeah, he's a big guy, and he's only 20 years old. It's just absolutely insane. Jake steals wrenches on other people's channels as well, right? Why not? I'm happy to say I got a new job as an animal care associate at Humane Society. My pack grows, Wolf. All right. Don't mod me, Matt. Why you want to ban Luca now? I can't see Rickard beating Lachlan in a match format. Yeah, well, fine. See what happens. Evan is Rufus from Bumble's doppelganger. Oh, there you go. Yeah, possibly. I haven't watched that for a long time. Rickard is very interesting and exciting to see where he is. He's a very exciting young man, and can't wait to see him back on the table. I heard Rickard is 260. I don't know what that is in kilos. Yeah, so 120 kilos, 264 pounds. He's a big man, that's for sure. And he is a big old fella. Got to scoot, lads. Have great energy. Thank you, White Wolf, for popping in. Great to see you. Have a great day, my friend. Everyone's saying goodbye to White Wolf. There you go. Yeah, so, but we do have the East versus West card coming up. I did bring that up on here so I can show you guys. So that's the card that's going to be coming up. What's the date on that? It's July the 6th. So July the 6th, I think, is the same date that Armed Gods will be having their Wales event. But the good thing is, as I said before, with the time difference, they won't be overlapping. You will be able to watch both events. And I would say watch both events. They're both high-level arm wrestling events that will be taking place. So Morozov versus Laletin for a right arm heavyweight super match. Interesting match there. What do we think, guys? Laletin versus Morozov. And that is the main event. 115 kilo plus division. What are we thinking? Morozov or Laletin? Both big men, both on a tear at the moment. It's be interesting to see if Laletin can figure out the puzzle of Morozov. And you think that Muscle Bike thinks Vitali has got this. And Morozov for the win. Okay, well, we've got two different opinions right there. Yeah, well, that's what's good about having these sort of matches is when you don't know who's going to win. It's not obvious. That's the best possible match you can have, because when it's obvious that this person's going to crush the other guy, and then they do, it's like, well, that was always going to happen. The only interesting thing that could possibly happen is if the other person wins a round or gets a stop, or if they do manage to get a victory. I mean, it's that's where it's outrageous because it's such a big underdog story. But when two people are sort of around that level where you don't really know. It's like, well, this guy could win, but this guy could also win. It's the ideal kind of matchup to make, and that's probably what you're going to see here with Morozov and Laletin. Both very, very powerful men. And Huxley says it's going to be a grinder of a match. Lucas says Vitali. Torpol says that Devin has to prove he's worthy to face Dadakian. Those are Dadakian's words, not mine. He has to prove himself. Okay. I'm going with Vitali. What would Devin have to do to prove himself? It's kind of a funny statement to make. We've also got David Samushia and Sasho. Sasho, I know he's coming back from injury. I believe he's had one match back since, but yes, that would be an interesting match there. That's for a title as well. That is for the right arm welterweight. Jeez, big guys for welterweight. What is their welterweight? Oh, 85 kilos. Okay. 85 kilos is what in pounds? 85 times 2.2. 187 pounds. Both these guys looking enormous for that weight class, especially Sasha. I guess he's a short guy, but yes, very, very powerful men going against each other there. What are we thinking, Samushia or Sasha? Huxley says it'll be a grinder. I said that before. Who do I have for the win, Huxley? I think that Morozov, for me. I think that his press is just next level. I think people are really struggling to figure out how to beat it. He may have the best press going around in arm wrestling next to Jerry Catarat. Joe Nelson says that David... Let me bring that up. David Daddy Can't has no clue. Devin needs to have 30 super matches a year to prove himself. Yeah, it's not really a great statement to make, especially against probably the most popular arm wrestler in the world. Most popular arm wrestler in the world, who's pretty much ranked number 2 on most people's lists, I would say, going against Levan twice. Yeah, it's hard to say you need to prove yourself. It's like, maybe Daki and him may actually be the other way around, because I don't know if that many people will be clamoring for a match with you and him. Sasha always wins or lose. That's he always does. He always wins or lose. You can guarantee he's either going to win or lose. If I could put a bet on that, I would. He'll either win or lose. Daddy Ken had that injury also. I hope Daddy Ken was kidding. If not, he will be in the Delusional Series Club. I haven't seen him say that. Was that the exact thing that he said, or was it translated, or did he mean it sort of out of context? Did he specifically say, I won't have a match with Devin Larratt until he proves himself? If he said that, then sure, I think he's like, that's not a good thing to say. That's kind of silly. But he might have said something of that idea, and somebody else has written it as that he has said that Devin needs to prove himself, and it just came out differently to the way that he meant it. Always got to be careful with quoting other people unless you've actually seen that person say it themselves. Camille versus Jerry, press for press. Yeah, absolutely. Morozov lost against Kadecha. Yeah, that's true. He did. Kadecha is looking like a monster at the moment. He had about a year off and come back. He came back and he looked like he put on another 20 kilos and got about another foot taller. Kadecha may be the next big thing. I'd love to see. I don't think he's ready for Levan at this point. I think he needs to win a couple more matches, really sort of hone down his technique and game. But I wouldn't be surprised if in 2 or 3 years that he is holding that number 1 rank in the world. He definitely doesn't draw, that's for sure. Yeah, Daddy can. Daddy can. Yeah, that's one of those things as well. If you're a promoter, or if you're putting matches together, you've got 2 options with who do we want to put together for a big match. If you've got one big name in Devin Larratt, you go, okay, that's fantastic. We've got Devin Larratt, most popular arm wrestler in the world, 1 million subscribers on YouTube. Everyone that's a fan of his is going to be watching this. Who are we going to put him on against? Because there's got to be somebody pretty bloody interesting, or it's got to be a really big match, because everyone's going to be expecting that. And if you said, yeah, it's going to be David Dadikin, everyone's going to be like, who? Who is it? So, yeah, I don't think it's going to be Dadikin that's going to get the next match with Devin regardless. And I would say it's not because of Devin's ability to prove himself. I think it's probably from the fact that if you're going to have Devin Larratt on your card, you want to put him against somebody that's going to bring the most possible interest in there. I support him either way, is what I meant. I love the way Sasho pulls. Yeah, sorry, I was just poking fun at the way you wrote it. It just made me laugh. That's all. Sasho, he is a legendary puller, absolutely, and great to see him back on the table after that injury. I didn't see it, but Devin did 2 vids about it. Got to see it first, mate. You can't be quoting something as gospel if it hasn't been said. Because Devin may have said that, and Daddy can never said it. It's like, I never said that. I never said you'd have to prove yourself. Always got to be careful jumping on those things. Make sure that you hear it from the actual person themselves. Because if you're going on rumors or you're going on what other people say, then you may actually be spreading a false rumor, or hurting somebody's reputation without meaning to, based on somebody else's lie. But Daddy did say it on the East versus Daddy Can't did say it on the East versus West podcast yesterday. Oh, there you go. Perfect. So Joe Nelson says he did say it. Well, 2 days ago. Fantastic. Okay, well, there you go. If he has said it, and he said it on a podcast, he said it on video, and everyone has heard that, then that's fair enough. You can make the criticism. And he's for any of us not so tall people. Oh, Luca, yeah, about Sasho. Yeah, Sasho, I'm not sure how tall he is. He's quite a short guy. But he makes it work for him. Is Morozov's strong arm his left? I believe it is his left. But it'd be interesting to see how he goes against Latin. It's a good match. It is definitely something that is worth putting together. There's that Mr. DF. Okay. Morozov is a lefty. Travis might smash him in a year or so. Well, you started talking Devin and Proof. There's DF. DF? It's like saying Beetlejuice 3 times. There's DF. Well, you started talking Devin and Proof. There's DF. Yeah, I saw the part where he said Devin needs to prove himself. Okay, great. Angan questioned him on this. Seems like he might just be trolling us all. Okay, yeah, fair. It's not a very good troll. It makes him look bad. It's kind of silly. Travis versus Devin. Because all you got to say is, okay, well, how does he prove himself? The fact that he's most popular arm wrestler in the world, probably number 2 in the in everybody's rankings, has beaten some of the best arm wrestlers in the world for the last decade. How else does he prove himself? Oh, I missed that one. Tall Paul says Travis versus Devin is going to be big, huge, and the trash talking will be legendary. Travis versus Devin. Is that happening? I don't think that's happening, is it? Have they said that this is going to happen? No, I haven't seen that. But I have seen matches between them before, and to be honest, they were some of the worst matches I've ever seen. They were terrible. There's one of them on YouTube, and the first round, to get it started, to get a start, it was 20 minutes. I'm not exaggerating. You can find it on YouTube. They just would not grip hold of each other. And Travis kept walking away from the table, and then he'd wander away, get some chalk, come back, and then they'd go to grip up, and they'd be pushing around, and then Travis would let go and walk off, and then he'd come back, and then Devin would walk off, and I'm like, oh my God, just when are they going to arm wrestle? And they ended up both getting fouls for stalling or not listening to the referee or something. This went on for 20 minutes. I'm not kidding. And then they finally got a start, and it slipped. This match went for ages and ages and ages, and there was about 12 seconds of arm wrestling in, I don't know, 40 minutes of a of a video. Yeah, it wasn't good at all. It was absolutely terrible. I wouldn't want to see it. I'd like all the build up and everything would be fun. You know, the guys trash talk. They're both charismatic. They're both funny. They both have big personalities. But getting them on the table to actually bloody arm wrestle each other is yeah, it's almost a nightmare. Junior, have you seen me and Batman in the same room together? Spreading rumors. I believe Marcus Thompson is Batman. I haven't seen him in the same room as Batman either. Can't say I have. Oh, Devon's forearm. Okay, I was wondering what. All right, there you go. Devon's forearm. Yeah. I was wondering what DF was. You guys have got to write the name. The acronyms are not getting me. When you started talking Devon and proof, there's Devon's forearm. Okay, great. Yeah. Perfect. Thank you, Devon's forearm. Billy Biceps, they should run that match back with Georgia and Kadetcha, because they should have cancelled that match when Georgie got hurt. Yeah. I know he'd hurt his leg very badly, like severely. Cost me $50 in a bet. Because I'd made the bet like weeks before the match. But yeah, it's almost like, you know, when you've done all the promotion, you've done all the training, and it's the day before or 2 days before, then you get an injury, and it's like, okay, it's my leg, it's really bad, but I think I can still arm wrestle. I should still be able to arm wrestle. And I'm here. I've already made the flight. You know, I've done the press conference or whatever. And at that point, are you going to cancel the match? It's like everybody's wanting to see it. Everyone's waiting to see it. And then you cancel it. It's almost better to get on and lose than to not get on at all. But, you know, it is what it is. I mean, usually people will go into a match injured in some way or another. Gold's Arm, a great free arm wrestling resource of stats for pause, events, and links made by a fan for us fans. Yes, I've referenced it many times. I think it is a very valuable tool. Morozov versus Camille Left would be a good one to watch. Absolutely. I think that may be the next big left-handed match that we might see for the number one in the world. Devin and Travis have been hinting about a match with each other. Yeah. It's hard to take anything that Travis says in those terms legitimately, because he'll say it and, you know, for fun or whatever, but he doesn't mean that he's going to follow through with it. He'd probably want 50 grand to do it or 100 grand or something. And the matches are terrible. Yeah, as Huxley says here, Travis versus Devin, that's crap matches. Yeah, they really are not fun to watch at all. If you've ever seen any of them, there's a bunch of them. If you go and watch any of their matches, they're just terrible. It's all stalling, goofing around, fouls. There's hardly any actual arm wrestling at all. Godzilla versus Daddy Ken had some weird calls in the match. I didn't see that one. I'm not sure. Sorry, man. I can't provide you with a comment there because I didn't see it. Travis versus Devin needs to be auto strap and ref grip no matter what. I don't think it would help, Drew. I don't think it would help at all. I think regardless as to what they do, they're just going to mess around and probably take the strap off and then walk off and get chalk and goof around in the corner and take a drink and then walk back, and then the other guy will walk off, and it's like, yeah, it is not fun. Not fun to watch these guys compete. It's great when they compete against other people, not against each other. I can watch a 2-hour match with Devin and Travis smack talking each other. Yeah. Well, the smack talk is the fun bit. Trying to see them set up is bloody frustrating. Have a look at their matches on YouTube, and you'll see exactly what I mean. After 10 minutes, and they haven't got a single start, you'll be like, just bloody start already. I think if they did 6 rounds regardless, it may be 2.5 hours. Maybe longer. Joe Nelson says, I'm sitting here making up words because the heart is blocking you message. The heart is blocking you message. I thought you said auto-tuned instead of strap. White Wolf could be Alfred and Marcus Batman. Yeah, well, it's possible. Definitely possible. Marcus Thompson, one of the owners of Arm Gods, absolute legend, big supporter of arm wrestling, which is tremendous that people like him are in a position where they have the ability to support the things that they love, and then they choose to do it and, put on big events and bring in the best people that they can, and they promote it as best they can. And they do a tremendous job over at Arm Gods, him and Paul Maiden. Auto-tune Devin versus Travis might make all the talking super entertaining. I'd support the trial. Yeah. If they had the microphones on them, sure. The ones I've seen, the matches I've seen, they didn't have mics, so you don't get to hear what they're saying. You just see them goofing around for so long, which made it, more annoying. I'm sure if you could hear what they were saying, it may be more interesting at that point. I don't even remember who won the match, actually. I don't remember who won, but I remember them getting fouls constantly and just constant restarts. And I don't even know if there was an actual pin. They may have fouled out in every round. I know, such a bad match. Maybe the worst match at the high level that I've seen. That's how bad it was. Matt, can you go into YouTube Studio and move that heart? It's called Live Reactions. Well, I'm running it through Restream here, which is a completely different platform. It's not through my YouTube. It just broadcasts out to my YouTube. So I'll have a look after I do the stream, and I'll see if I can set that up for the next one. But I won't be able to do it at the moment because I probably have to end the stream to be able to get into the settings. Travis and Devin press conference. Yeah, well, that would be more interesting than the match. I think Devin did a good job with the post-match interviews as well. It's the first time I'm seeing him do that, and I thought he did a really good job. Top Hall says, I don't see the heart in my chat. Okay. What is it? Remove that heart. It's called Live Reactions. Yeah, I don't know what that is. So I'm looking at a completely different screen to what you guys see. Drew, you can do it yourself now. Click the 3 dots and remove reactions. Oh, there you go. Fixed it for us, Devin's forearm. Maybe he's Batman. Maybe Devin's forearm is actually Marcus Thompson. Joe Nelson. very happy about that news that he's just received about that. Yep, there you go. What was the other one on here I wanted to bring up? So, oh yes, Petrenko and Dadakian, and that was left-handed. That's a right arm match. Petrenko and Dadakian. 105 kilo world title. Interesting to see how that match plays out. Do we have any thoughts on that? Dadakian versus Petrenko. If Dadakian is talking smack about Devon, you would hope that he's going to win, because if he loses, then all of that potential match with Devon goes away. That hype train instantly gets dissolved. It's one of those problems with looking past your opponent and calling out other people when you've got an opponent already, and they potentially could derail everything for you. I can't claim to be Marcus. He might really be Batman. He might. He has the ability to do it. You think about anybody that has the ability to do. What's he got? He's got a martial arts background. He has the funds. He has the ability to fly around in a plane. Let me rephrase that. He has the access to get to wherever he wants to get to. That'd be kind of interesting. I like that. I like that thought. It's a rumor I'm going to keep spreading. Marcus is the judo vampire. There you go. Dadakian going to want that big payday that comes with a match with Devon. Yeah, that's right. It's the red panty night, as Conor McGregor would say. If he wins, but he's got to win. And if you're going to win and you're going to call out Devon Larratt before your match, you want to win in style, or you want to win big. You don't want to just get by, or you don't want it to be close. You want to be a completely dominant victory. Because if Petrenko takes it, then goodbye to that matchup with Devon Larratt. And Devon, I'm sure, would be jumping all over that, going, well, look who has to prove themselves now. But there are a lot of matches on this card and a lot of familiar names that you should recognize there. Let's see if I make that bigger for everybody. So we've got Prudnik versus Irakli. That's one I'm really looking forward to, actually. Right arm, light heavyweight match. Prudnik versus Irakli. Irakli being Levan's training partner and looking absolutely beastly. It's not for a title, but yeah, what are we thinking? Because I think that maybe the technique and experience would go to Prudnik, but I think just the power and strength is going to Irakli, and he's been looking like on a tear recently. So Irakli and Prudnik, red panty night. That's right. Yeah, very excited. Anytime that Irakli gets on the table, this young man always is an exciting prospect to watch. I wonder if you can set up a poll. Prudnik got this. It'd be a war though. Design. Let's see if I can do a poll. Probably can't on this. It's probably got to be done through YouTube itself. QR codes, no. Music, no. You can put music on. That's interesting. Chat. No. Okay. Yeah. But I'm thinking Irakli in this match. It'll be very interesting to see how Prudnik and Irakli go against each other. The other one that you've got there is Todd Hutchings and Krasimir. I think that Todd will be the victor in that match. I think that Krasi's days at the highest levels may be on the downslide. I think Todd is still going to be hanging around that absolute elite level for a long period of time. And I'd be fairly confident that Todd would win that one. But, Krasimir has the experience. He's been at the highest levels for a very long time. And if anybody can do it, he's got the ability to win. We've also got the women's title match there with Barbara and how do you say that name? Eagle. Hey, I always know that I'm saying these names wrong, but Lucas says that Prudnik will sing Irakli a song of sorrow. Evgeny. Tolpol says, I don't know why they even have that heart to start with. The fact that they made an option to remove it says it all. Drew says Eglay. Okay, thank you. Barbara versus Eglay. Barbara, I haven't seen her matches since, but when she beat Gabriella for the title, that was a very exciting moment. I was doing live commentary with Ryan for that up in Brisbane, and I believe that was on the same card that was Devon and Levan won. It was the very first one, so she's obviously retained the title since then. And we'll see if Eglay has what it takes to take that title from her. Just call them Alexandra if you can't pronounce it, Matt. Yeah. There's so many. Then there's so many that I'll just like skip through the name, like, or else I'll pick one of the names I can say, like Sasho's name I could say, but the surname is like, I'm not trying that one. And then Travis's opponent as well. That's going to be a struggle. Travis Bajent versus Sahil Kalanchenko. I think that's not too bad. Kalanchenko. We'll go with that. Sahil Kalanchenko. That's a right arm match. What's he doing drawing right arm? Travis, you're a left-handed specialist there. I thought he was having 3 left-handed matches in a row, but he's obviously got a right arm match booked by the looks of things. I don't really know anything about Kalanchenko, but obviously if he's going against Travis Bajent, he's a top-level guy, and we'll see how that plays out. Then we've got Artem Tainov. These names are killing me. Artem Tainov versus Batkili Oniani. Oh man, I know these are bad. I haven't heard of either of those guys, unfortunately. Propryak and Simonev. We've got Petrova and Takanaka. I feel stupid. Every name is harder than the last one. This is not fair. I should have read these ahead of time and practice them. But getting it like on the fly is fumbling all over these names. Chance Shaw, I can say that one. Chance Shaw versus Ibrahim Segov. Always good to see Chance compete. He is the tugboat Chance Shaw. Although the interesting point about that was that he had to get down to a certain weight for it. Right arm heavyweight. I think he had to cut weight. Somebody was talking about that yesterday, that he had trimmed down a lot. So it might not be for this match in particular, but there might be one he's got lined up after that he had to drop a lot of weight for. Oh, do I want to try these last ones? The only one I'm going to say here, there's 2 that I know here. Well, you got Zurab, obviously. Zurab coming back from breaking his arm. And then you got Adam Warinsky. Great to see him on the card as well. And Adam Taranenko, the Russian spy. At least I can get through those ones. Man, that's like a challenge game. You could be like, okay, here's some names. Let's see if you can say them properly. It's like, oh, yeah. Very, very difficult. But once you know it, once you know how to say it, it's not too bad. It's like Khabib Nurmagomedov, in the UFC. It just took a while to learn how to say it, or Joanna Jacek. Joanna Jacek, the announcers were struggling so much with saying Jacek that because the way you say it is Jacek, but it's not written that at all. It's just Z's and C's. It's just You know, there's no way you could look at that as an English speaker and be like, oh, I know how to say that. That's your J check. It's like, yeah, good luck. So anyway, the announcers in the UFC were struggling so much that they ended up just calling her Joanna Champion instead of your J check because they couldn't say it. It took them about 3 years to be able to learn how to say it confidently that they could broadcast it. Joanna your J check, and they were, it was always Joanna Champion, which is fair enough. I mean, you want to be Joanna Champion. Interesting point as well. Arnold Schwarzenegger started his career off as Arnold Strong because no one could say Schwarzenegger. Hercules in New York. If you look at the credits there, he'll be Arnold Strong. Yeah. Yes. That is a difficult one. Matawarengi Hedamoris. Yeah, that took a while. I actually had to get Ryan Bowen to record that on audio. Dave and I were sitting in the studio just saying it over and over, and Ryan's like, no, that's not right. And I think I still say it wrong. I think it's Matawarengi Hedamoris. But I drop out that. Yeah, I always just go Matawarengi. But yeah, it's easier to say Hedamoris at least. But yeah, Matawarengi Hedamoris. Very difficult name. Yes, Joanna. Yeah, Jacob Khabib Nurmagomedov, Ivan Sagashvili. That's another tricky one. There are some very difficult names out there for sure. But it feels good once you get the hang of a certain name. You're like, oh, yeah. And, you see that name and you can confidently say it. And people are like, oh, okay, he knows what he's talking about. It's like, yep. As opposed to fumbling over the names just like I was a minute ago. All right, we've had a look at East versus West. Let's have a quick look at Arm Gods because their Wales event is going to be the next one coming up. Rangy for sure. All right, Arm Gods, everybody's favorite. The match cards, Arm Gods Wales, 6th of July. All right. And bring up the card. Oh, that's kind of small. Let me see if I can make it bigger. Oh, no, it's just making everything smaller. How does that look? It's really tiny. Wonder if I can make that bigger somehow. If I zoom in on this one. No. Or if I open this picture. Open it as a new picture. Screenshot. Open in sidebar. Save it. Open image. There we go. A new tab. Share this tab. That should do it. That's better. All right. Let me hear how you say Jose Aldo. And the reason I say Jose instead of Jose Aldo is because he himself says, no, my name is actually pronounced Jose. Jose Aldo. Even though normally you would say Jose Aldo. Top Hole says, I wonder when Arm Gods are going to have another hardcore match. I liked the tag match. Well, the Arm Shock will be in at some point. That's where people are going to get electrocuted when they get pinned. But I said, this thing going to shock both guys? And they're like, All right. So, yeah, there are a few guys on here that I'm not familiar with, but I'll go through the ones that I'm looking forward to seeing. So, Dean Bolt and James Stewart, both guys, enormous men. James Stewart weighing in at 165 kilos. Yeah. Took me forever to say Jose instead of Jose. Yeah, absolutely. But yes, James Stewart, 165 kilos, very, very powerful man, and he's going against the Welsh Wolverine of Dean Bolt, who will be facing off in a left-handed match. So that'll be very exciting. I've picked Dean based on experience and technique. I think that James has probably the strength and the size, but being able to utilize that, I think he's still learning how to get into his positions. And I think that Dean is probably going to be able to keep him out of, prevent him from getting to where he wants to get to. I would have said ho too. There you go. You can't trick me with the UFC. That's another one of the other things that I do. I'm an administrator for USA Today for MMAJunkie.com. So that is the UFC. Well, it covers all MMA, but I mean the majority of it is UFC. But yes, been administrator on there since 2008. What have we got? Oh, I can't scroll down. Where are we? Okay, here we go. James Wall will be making his appearance. It's a left-handed match against Greg Foster. Another exciting match there. These guys were all on the last, was it Monday or last week? Last Monday's podcast had a bunch of the guys that will be competing on this card that were all in the show there, and they're all very, very funny guys and a lot of trash talk. It's a very exciting, entertaining podcast. I basically didn't say anything because I was laughing the whole time. Of course, Paul Maiden being his hilarious self as usual. Just non-stop jokes and threats and insults, and it was fantastic. Let me bring up the other card they've got there. Okay, Dwayne Reeves, Harley Potter, Daff, AW Daff, Nick Dodd. Yeah, so a lot of familiar names there. Murray Whitehead, Tom Mitchell, Jason Hill. But yeah, one of the great things with Arm Gods is that if you want to watch it, it's just on their website. You just go to their website, armgods.com, and I think all you've got to do is you sign up to their subscription, which is, I don't know, $5 a month or something, and you can watch all that stuff. And not only that, but you get access to all the previous stuff that they've done and all the training seminars and everything that they're constantly putting up content. It's just insane. And I think, what is it? Paul has said, people keep telling me that we should be charging more, but yeah, the amount of content you get for that is just absolutely ridiculous. I wonder what Derek Smith versus James Stewart will like. Yeah, that would be a good match, actually. Both very big men, both, well, 6'8", I think Derek Smith is. I'm not sure how tall James is, but he'd probably be pretty similar. Yeah, $4.99. Definitely worth it. Definitely worth it. And my God, it's almost too cheap, It's like, it's so much content for that price. Especially these big pay-per-view events, $4.99. You're not only just getting the pay-per-view event, you're getting everything, all their previous stuff, all the seminars, it's just, yeah. Show your support for Arm Gods, because these guys are putting on big events, and they're doing it in a way that they've made it as accessible as possible. I mean, $5 a month. Absolutely insane. I'm going, it's absolutely allergy meds. You being a hater, Joe? I'm getting turd burglar vibes. Turd burglar. Where was Joe being a hater? I didn't see that. The allergy meds? Oh, about sneezing. Okay, yeah. Right. You're saying that the O thing is a sneeze. That's the Spartan call to victory. I think they've got actually a very good little promo video that they've put out. Oh God, I'm just going to bring that up because I think that it's worth people getting to see Arm Gods' promo stuff, because they do a great job. Laughing because Arm Wars came up instead of Arm Gods. All right, so yeah, they're putting their matches up there. Arm Wrestling Comedy. Where are their Is that the right one there? I'm just going to find it. Sorry, guys. Oh, yeah, this is it. Okay, great. Now let me share that tab instead so you guys can see what I'm looking at. There we go. I'll see if I can make that bigger for everybody. That's what she said. Oh, it's not as big as I can make it. Is there a full screen? No. No full screen with shorts. Ooh, can we full screen that? No, we can't. Let me move the chat off the screen for a sec so I can see if I make that bigger for everyone. And hide me.
Is behind the world ahead, and there are many paths to tread through shadows to the edge of
Bring myself back up again. Yes, very exciting. They do a great job at Arm Gods, and that event, the Arm Gods Wales event, July the 6th, I believe, will be taking place. So, yes, armgods.com is where you can find that and every other thing they've ever done. Oh, so good. All right, we'll probably give it another 5 minutes here, guys, and then I'll head off. So, any other questions that anybody had about any topic at all, really? But yeah, you can talk about Arm Gods or the East versus West stuff that's coming up, or AWE. But yeah, it's been great to have everyone on here. We're going 2 hours and 17 minutes. It's been always good to jump on, especially if I didn't have you guys in the chat, I would literally just be talking to myself. So it's always good to have people here, and I can have people to talk to about arm wrestling, which is just wonderful. They had one promo Phil did. It had the Roman gladiators in it. It was epic. Yeah, they've done some really good ones. I was just trying to find it very quickly. That was the first one I could find, but it was specific for the event that's coming up on July the 6th. So Arm Gods in Wales. But yeah, they've done some incredible stuff. You should definitely check them out. The YouTube channel is great. Their podcasts are always funny, and they provide so much in terms of their content, and they do it all for such a low price. And they will be at Winter Blast this year in the United States. Heart and soul, all about the people, absolutely. And you really feel that as well. It feels like you're part of the family, part of the crew, part of the special group. You know, if anyone who's in that room when the Arm Gods event is taking place, it's like you're part of the club. You know, you're part of this, regardless as to whether you're an arm wrestler or a fan of arm wrestling or somebody who's just been brought along by another person. You'll get swept up in the atmosphere and the excitement that goes on in those events. So yes, tremendous promotion, and yeah, hope that those guys do continue to find success and do big things in the sport of arm wrestling. I need Paul say there. One of the guys at training brought that up, actually. Grant Law, who's one of our guys at the SA Titans Arm Wrestling Club, says, I was watching a seminar that Paul Maiden put on the other day, and he's like, so when you're standing there, you got to go there. If your opponent stands there, then you go there. This classic Northern English accent that he has there. Absolutely classic. I'm sure that every accent has funny bits and pieces to it. One of my favorites lately has been listening to the Scouse accent. Every day is a Thursday. That's awesome. So good. All right. Well, I might wrap this up, guys, but yes, thank you everyone again for jumping in and allowing me the opportunity to talk with all of you about arm wrestling and everything arm wrestling related. So I hope you have a great rest of the day or night, depending on where you are in the world. And it's time for me to go pick the kids up from school because it's almost 3 o'clock in the afternoon here. Till Paul says my hillbilly tongue won't say it like Paul does. Yeah, it's definitely a learnt thing over many years. I'm studying to say the word the. But thank you again, everybody. And I'll give you the double biceps to finish up there. Oh!